Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Injective, Rune and SPX price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. We're gonna start with Injective here on the daily chart, where we are looking at a 1 2 3 4 5 towards the upside for the all-time history, finished wave A in the yellow scenario. And then you're looking here for another correction for a wave B and an impulse followed to finish a wave C, meaning you have finished kind of like a zigzag toward the upside, three waves, and in this case scenario you have finished as well, of course, a correction after it as ABC potentially finished, of course, where you have three waves corrective and you're looking for a massive wave C toward the upside, meaning A, B, and a C for higher prices. Another scenario is a double 1-2 here, where you have 1-2-1-2, and this is the second 1-2 where you have hit the 0.5 fib level, perfect fib levels for a wave 2, moving for a wave 3 massively and explosively toward the upside, and of course double 1-2 meaning for 5 as well for the higher prices. Now, in case you are bearish in short term first, in case we are still bearish, meaning we did not finish this three waves corrective and we're still looking for something lower before moving for higher, that means you might be in this wave C as 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Currently, if we move inside it here on the daily chart, you can see, of course, that you might have an impulse 1, 2, and then you have kind of like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 to finish a wave 3. And that means potentially that this, in case it is a W, X, and a Y here, where you have a zigzag, zigzag, X as a bridge in between, can be playing your wave 4, and you're looking for something still impulsive towards the downside to finish, of course, this wave 5 in double 1 2. This is, of course, the short term. The long term bearish scenario is, of course, unfinished big correction, meaning this is only your wave A finished here. You might see after a wave B, and then, of course, continuation towards the downside for a wave C towards the downside. This is, of course, the ultimate bearish scenario. Let's move inside this area, especially this block, to analyze what is going on inside Injective on the bullish and bearish scenario. As you mentioned, for the bearish, you might be, of course, in WXNY here, where you have a wave 4 and you're looking at double 1 2 and continuation simply toward the downside, already explained. Now, a bullish scenario can be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Your wave 5 is an ending diagonal finished wave 1. A, B, and a C, of course, corrective, and you're looking after it for something still corrective, meaning this can turn into an A, B, and a C. Obviously, you don't have kind of like an impulse here. Now, you can call what happened today and yesterday is a wave 5 for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're gonna see it in the next scenario, but higher possibility here because of the time of a wave 4 and how much deep it is. It can be, of course, an ABC hitting the 0.618 and start the move toward the downside after taking the high in an impulse. And that because, of course, we finished an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 hitting the wave C probably, and of course hitting the 0.618, and of course continuation for lower prices. And that means, of course, in this case, you are looking for a wave C, for a wave 2, of course, to finish the yellow count here. And that means, in this case, A, B, and a C toward the downside. Another bullish scenario, of course, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 1 here, and you have a big ABC expanding flat. However, this expanding flat has started to move outside of the range of a diagonal. We would like to finish expanding flat here, a wave C taken, of course, from those lows, I would say, for the diagonal, and copy paste this same trend as parallel toward the downside. As you can see, it has broken already this trend, meaning this wave 4 is longer than wave 2. You cannot count 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. That's insane, right? Therefore, higher possibility shift towards W, X, and a Y. This wave Y is a zigzag where you have an impulse, you have a correction ABC as we saw today, and potentially one more move toward the downside. And in confluence, you have those two bullish and a bullish scenario for wave 1, 2 here, that it might unfold for lower, meaning this to continue a zigzag, right? And for the other scenario, which is this one, to continue, of course, a wave, an impulse for a wave C, meaning an A, B, and a C. Both case scenarios are requiring lower prices, so we have to be careful. Now, why we are not bullish and why we don't consider this as a 1-2, let's move inside it on the micro level to give you an answer. So basically, the things start, of course, from the lowest low here, the lower low, and we have, of course, an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially finished wave 1, right? And then you have ABC. For a wave 2 should be, of course, a wave 2. However, after this, you would like to see an impulse, clean impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, which we don't have in this case. I'm gonna explain. If you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 for a wave 1 here, you got a wave 2, which is very shallow anyway, wave 3, wave 4, and a wave 5. Your wave 3 is the lowest and the smallest between the wave 1 and the wave 3, which is not an impulse again. And that, of course, creates some confusion and some, broken rules here for an impulse, which makes it actually here what you have to count is exactly the 1, 2 taken from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 finished as a diagonal. And after this impulse, of course, you have kind of like potentially small impulse inside it for a wave A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got a wave B, which is characteristic of wave B, since you took only the 0.23, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is a zigzag, guys. Yeah, and that means W, X, and a Y, because you have a zigzag here, might means, of course, that you are in 3 ways toward the upside, followed by 3 ways toward the downside. Very long range, by the way, very far from a wave 4. And also having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right now, hitting exactly the 0.618, as we mentioned, which is uncommon target for a wave C. And therefore, moving toward the downside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in one of those scenarios that we saw on the 2 hours chart, where you would like to see, of course, a lower wave 2 in a wave C, or you would like to see, of course, a lower 2 with a zigzag. Here we go. This zigzag, where you have, of course, a W, X, and a Y. The wave Y is the following zigzag. Okay, after having a W, an X in between, and a zigzag. Also, to reinforce the things, don't forget also the bearish signal here that we have for a wave 4, potentially in WX and a Y, and having here potentially double 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5 towards the downside. That was it for Injective. Let's move for Rune and start also on the daily chart for Rune. Rune is an impulsive chart, is a nice chart. And we have an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a finished wave A or a wave 1. So I would say nice chart, direction is toward the upside. And of course, we see after it kind of like a triangle, potential A, B, C, D, E. Currently, we are in a wave C, can be, of course, looking for a wave D and then wave E. This is the first possibility. Second possibility is that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave A here finished. You have a W, X, and a Y wave B, and followed by an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're still looking for a wave 5 in a diagonal. Because on the 2 hours chart here, on the micro level, where you are looking at here potential very big impulse with several 1, 2s. So basically you have here like a 1, 2. Right, starting 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, 4 and a 5, a 4 and a 5 to finish a wave 3 in this magenta. And right now in the magenta bracket scenario, you have an A, B, and a C toward the upside. It is not an impulse, definitely not an impulse, and that because of the wave 5. Anyway, it looks like 3 waves toward the upside. But however, this anyway looks very clear. A, B, and a C. You might have here 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Finished wave 4, and after this you are looking again for an A, B, and a C, not followed with any kind of an impulse. I'm gonna explain also on the 15-minute chart. So this ABC might be your wave 1 of a diagonal that we saw, of course, on the daily. So you might finish up, of course, this wave 3, this wave 4, and you're still looking for a wave 5 here. This wave 5 might finish up, of course, as a diagonal somehow like that. So currently we need, of course, definitely a wave 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. This start here on the 15-minute chart again is not looking like an impulse again. It's a problematic move for Rune here, and that because again the same problem. When you have 1, 2, wave 2 very shallow, wave 3 the smallest between the wave 1 and the wave 5. Okay, again problematic, meaning this is something corrective toward the upside, and this might finish up very soon, and it might have finished already, by the way, and it can be of course already finished 3 ways up, and you're looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 toward the downside. But I believe that because of the diagonal, I prefer of course still to see something for higher. Therefore I think that here we might get 3 waves up, 3 waves down, and then something higher, and then moving toward the downside for Rune. So in a bigger view, again, I would say, to just recap, I know it might be a little bit overwhelming. So if we have here a 1, 2, 3, right, as we mentioned, the wave 3 is finished here exactly with the 4, 5, 4, 5, okay, and then you got a wave 4 toward the upside here, okay, and then you have of course kind of like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Currently what we are looking at right now is a potential zigzag, right? Zigzag, one or A, B, and a C, and then you're looking for something like wave 2. This is already corrective and not impulsive as seen, of course, in the micro level, but I believe that we might still move for higher somehow like this in a zigzag, and then moving somehow ranging like this until we take the low, and then we move toward the upside. So yes, I would say Rune is gonna range a little bit for lower until it finds a lower low, and then moving for higher. Unless, guys, this is gonna turn simply to a zigzag, A, B, and a C in a wave C, and therefore this is gonna turn into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But again, as explained, be careful from this. This already looks like W, X, and a Y, double zigzag. Yeah. So that is for Rune. Let's see SPX 6900. So for SPX 6900 is also a very nice bullish chart. Direction is toward the upside. We see an impulse or leading diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 1 or wave A. You got a correction wave 2 or a wave B, and you continue again with a leading diagonal 1, 2, 3, hitting 1.618. Very nice price action for and a 5 finished wave 3. Currently you have finished also wave 4, and you're looking for a wave 5 to finish up, of course, around the 0.618, taken of course from this wave 1 here, and based on the wave 3, of course, in the white scenario, meaning you're still looking even for higher later on. But basically, this is a 1, 2, 3 unfinished yet. You have several 1, 2s here and 4 and a 5 to finish a wave 3. I'm gonna explain as well on the 2 hours chart. On the 2 hours chart, you have of course here a double 1, 2s. Right? So you have big wave 1, 2, another 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 inside it, and then 3, 4, and a 5. Until here, where you have started to see a wave 4 not interfering with the zone 1, and that's why this is your main wave 3. Yeah, this is your main wave 3 here, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. This wave 5 right now is unfolding, of course, for higher potentially, and we're still looking for kind of like an impulse toward the upside. Now here, of course, we have kind of like a little bit choppy price and choppy impulse, but still looking impulsive. Yeah, this is a difference. You still look for higher potentially here. You have a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5 finished in diagonal, where you might have also after it an A, a B, and a C finished already, and you're looking now for higher again impulsively, right, after having a big wave 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5 towards the upside. So basically, I would say this is looking fine to continue for higher prices. Internally here on the 15-minute chart, also you have for the micro a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, obviously. And of course, you need a correction, guys. Definitely, always correction is very necessary to have. So basically, you have an expanding flat A, B, and a C. This is a kind of like ABC, guys. A, B 1 2 3 4 5 for a wave C. To finish a wave A, you have a very sharp wave B, continuation toward the downside 1 2 3 4 5 as an expanding flat. The targets for this wave 2 might have, of course, reached the less even more, sorry, more than the requirement. I would say, like, yeah, it can be 0.5, very possible. In confluence, to get much more, maybe higher precision here for a wave C in an expanding flat, you might get this. Here we go. This is our much more precise target inside this blue box, guys. 1.17 might be, of course, the next target for SPX 6900. That was it for Injective, Rune, and SPX 6900. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.